Dark Shadows number 27, VTR 2267, Air 2767, take one.
My name is Victoria Winters. Collinwood, even by day, is shrouded in mysteries. Mysteries that seem to touch on the unseen and the unknown. A stranger has come to Collinwood. A man who may be able to solve these mysteries. And the life of one member of the Collins family depends on what he is able to find out.
Any news of Mrs. Stoddard?
Yes. Roger phoned the hospital in Boston last night. She's not any better. All the tests that they've made on her have been unsuccessful. They still don't know what's wrong with her.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, but I can't say that it surprises me.
You still think she's under some kind of trance?
As unlikely as it seems, yes.
Then may I ask you a question?
Certainly.
Do you really think that Mrs. Collins is responsible in some way for what's happened to Mrs. Stoddard?
It's a possibility.
I'm asking this because I'm in a very awkward position. Mrs. Stoddard told me to keep David away from his mother. Now, I don't know if I can do that. I don't even know if it's right. She is David's mother.
You want my opinion?
Yes.
If I were you, Miss Winters, I would do everything in my power to keep that boy away from Laura Collins.
Then you do suspect Mrs. Collins.
Well, I couldn't go that far.
But you just said that.
Now, let me just clarify what I said, Miss Winters. I have two facts at my disposal. The first is the presence in this house of a force so strong that it put Mrs. Stoddard into a trance.
But you don't know what it is.
All I know is that the force is so strongly opposed to Mrs. Stoddard that it superimposed itself on her will, which leads me to the second fact. From everything I'm able to figure out, the greatest source of friction in this house is between Mrs. Stoddard and Mrs. Collins. You know, I would like to get to know Laura Collins and find out more about her.
Well, I hope you do. There's so much about her I don't understand.
Do you mind if I ask you some questions?
Not at all.
Frank Garner filled me in pretty well. He explained to me your compulsion to go to the crypt and what you found there. The succession of L. Murdochs, all of whom died in fire.
That was very strange.
Could you tell me about this compulsion? Describe it to me?
Well, it was as though I had no will of my own. As though something else were driving me.
And you feel that this something else was the spirit of Josette Collins?
I'm sure of it.
Why?
Because whenever I had one of these compulsions, there was always the same scent in the air, the scent of jasmine.
Well, how do you relate this scent to Josette?
When she appeared to me in the old house, I smelt the jasmine then.
And you're absolutely certain that you saw a manifestation?
I know I saw Josette.
Anybody else seen her?
David has.
Would you call David a highly imaginative child?
Well, yes, I suppose so.
And of course, he's grown up at Collingwood so that he would have heard all the legends, and that may very well affect his imagination.
David may be imagining things, but I'm not. I know that I saw Josette. Now, I do think that she's responsible for these compulsions. In fact, I think that she is trying to tell me something about Mrs. Collins.
David, would you like to come here and stay overnight with me?
I guess so. What would we do?
Anything you want?
Would you tell me stories?
I know lots of wonderful stories.
And could we have a fire?
Yes,
Could I build it?
of course.
Okay, then I'll stay.
I'm glad you want to.
Miss Winters will probably make a fuss about it, though.
Have you mentioned it to her?
Not yet, but I know exactly what she's going to say. She'll say that I have to stay home and do homework. She's gotten pretty strict.
Well, David, I'm sure she's just doing her best.
She was never this strict before.
Well, she's probably just doing what she thinks she ought to do.
I'm glad you're not that way.
Well, maybe that's because I'm your mother and I understand you a little better than Miss Winters does, hmm?
I'm glad you're my mother.
Are you, dear?
Yes, you don't scold me or boss me around.
David, have you given any more thought to going away with me?
Well, yes, I have thought about it.
What have you decided?
I'm not sure.
David, don't you want to go with me?
Yes, I think so, but...
But what?
Well, I'm not so sure I want to leave Collinwood. I like it here. I know all sorts of secret hiding places where I can play. And if I go away, I won't have secret hiding places.
But you'll have other things. Believe me, you'll like it where I want to take you, David. Oh, you really will like it.
Maybe.
Well, I'm not going to force you to make a decision now, but, well, you must make one soon. We haven't got much time.
Miss Winters? Miss Winters?
She went outside to look for you.
Who are you?
My name is Guthrie. I'm here because of your Aunt Elizabeth.
Are you a doctor?
That's right, I am. You must be David.
That's right.
Well, I've been looking forward to meeting you, David.
You have?
Yes, I've heard a very great deal about you. I understand that you've seen a ghost.
Who told you?
Miss Winters,
Well, it's true, I have. Lots of times.
I believe you.
You do?
Yes, certainly. I believe in the existence of such things.
You're not like most people. Most people make fun of me whenever I talk about them.
Well, I'm not going to make fun of you. Oh, I believe in ghosts.
Why?
Well, because I'm interested. You know my favorite stories are ghost stories?
Mine too. Have you ever seen a ghost?
No, but I hope to someday.
Do you really believe in them?
I really do. Would you tell me about the ghosts that you've seen?
Okay. Well, I've seen the ghost of Mr. Malloy. He was real tall. He had seaweed all over him. He was scary. And I've seen the ghost of Josette Collins lots of times.
Was she scary, too?
Well, not scary, just sad.
Do you suppose that she might appear to me?
Well, if you believe. She doesn't appear to anybody that doesn't believe.
I qualify.
Well, it would be great if we could get her to appear. Why don't we go to the old house? That's where she usually appears.
I can't think of anything I'd like to do better.
Okay, I'll go get my coat.
There you are, David. I see you two have met.
Yes, we've been having a very nice chat. David is going to take me to the old house.
He believes in ghosts. He told me.
Where have you been? I've been looking all over for you.
I was with my mother.
Well, I thought I told you to finish your homework.
My mother wanted to see me. That's more important than any old schoolwork.
Well, when you come back from the old house, then you've got to finish it.
I can't. I'm going to visit my mother, and she's going to tell me stories. And I'm going to stay overnight there. And you can't stop me.
We'll see about that, David.
What are you gonna do?
Have a talk with your mother.
I don't think it'll do any good. She already said I could stay over.
We'll see.
Well, shall we go, David?
Okay, but you've got to promise me one thing. That you won't get scared, no matter what happens.
I promise.
Okay, let's go. Well, this is it.
How old is this house?
Oh, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years old.
Well, who lived here?
Oh, my grandfather, my great-great-great-grandfather. His name was Jeremiah Collins. Josette was his wife.
Must have been a spectacular place in its day.
I like it the way it is now. It's real spooky.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Come on, I'll show you Josette Collins. That's her painting.
She was very beautiful.
She's even more beautiful than that.
Describe her to me.
Well, she wears a veil and a long, long white dress. There's this funny perfume smell in the air whenever she's nearby.
What kind of perfume?
I don't know. It's real sweet.
Like the scent of jasmine?
I guess so.
I see. Why would she haunt this house? Do you know?
I think it's the way she died.
Oh, how did she die?
She killed herself. She jumped off the cliff at Widow's Hill.
Why?
Nobody really knows. I think it was because she was lonely. I feel sorry for her.
And, she doesn't scare you the least bit?
No, she never did anything to make me scared. She was always nice to me.
Do you feel like she wants to protect you?
I know she does. That's why I can't figure out why she won't appear to us, now that I need her so much.
Why do you need her so much?
Because I have to ask her some questions. I have to make a very important decision.
What?
Well, I have to know whether I should leave Collinwood. If I should go away with my mother.
Oh, Vicky.
Hello, Mrs. Collins. I hope I'm not disturbing you.
Oh, not at all. Won't you come in?
Thank you.
What can I do for you?
Well, it's about David. He's falling behind in his schoolwork again. I've spoken to him about it, but it didn't do any good. Something has to be done.
Well, I couldn't agree more. I'll speak to him about it again.
Well, he told me that he wants to spend the night down here.
That's right. What about it?
Well, I don't think it would be a very good idea.
Why not?
Well, because he wouldn't get his schoolwork done.
Well, he'll do it here.
Will he?
I'll see to it that he does.
Well, he'll have to get up very early in the morning in order to get in a good day.
I'll see that he gets up very early in the morning.
All right.
Vicky, I am quite capable of taking care of David myself.
I'm sure you are.
Then what's wrong?
Well, it's just that David has been spending so much time here and not enough time on his schoolwork.
I just told you I'll correct that situation.
I know what you said.
Vicky, I'm sure that by now that you know I'm a very straightforward person.
So am I.
Then be straightforward now. You're interested in more than David's studies. You want to keep him away from me. Isn't that the truth? I asked you a question. I'd appreciate an answer.
Well, it's a very difficult question to answer.
You do want to keep me away from David. Why?
I know I have no right to keep you two apart.
That's right, you don't. David is my son.
Well, it's just that I have my instructions, and David is my responsibility.
I know all about Liz's instructions. I know when she issued them and why.
Well, Mrs. Stoddard was afraid that something about you was disturbing to David.
Yes, but that's no longer the case. He wants to be with me now.
Yes.
If Liz were here, she would have no logical reason for keeping us apart.
Maybe not.
Oh, Vicky, I'm disappointed in you. You were so kind to me when I first came here, so helpful in bringing David closer to me.
I tried to be.
But you're not trying now. There's a change in your attitude. What's caused it?
I don't know that anything has changed my attitude.
Oh, yes, something has.
Well, I'm just trying to carry out my instructions.
Well, if you're wise, you'll forget your instructions.
I'm sorry, but I can't.
You'd better.
What?
Vicky, I do not want interference from you.
I have tried very hard not to interfere.
Then try harder. I'll give you a word of advice.
What is it?
Don't try to come between David and me. It wouldn't be wise. In fact, it would be very unwise.
Well, David, it looks to me as if Josette Collins isn't going to appear.
She can't.
Why not?
Well, we're both in the same room. She can never appear to more than one person at a time.
She doesn't?
No, never has.
Oh, then I guess we better split up.
That's what I was thinking.
Do the ghosts appear in any of the other rooms?
Well, sometimes.
Look, I'll take a look around. Oh, why don't you stay here?
Okay.
I won't be gone long, just a few minutes. You won't go away, will you?
No, I'll stay right here. I like it here. Josette, we're alone now. Why don't you appear to me? I want to ask you some questions. Please, I want to know whether I should be with my mother, or whether I should leave Collinwood. I want to be with my mother, but I don't want to leave my friends. Please, can't you tell me what to do? Can't you make some sign? Perfume. I smell your perfume. You're here. You're going to tell me what to do. You're going to tell me what to do. You're going to tell me what to do.
Samuel Goldwyn presents Guys and Dolls, starring Frank Sinatra, Marlon Brando, Gene Simmons, and Vivian Blaine. Tomorrow night in color here on ABC. Dark Shadows is a Dan Curtis production.